That was an incredible panel. I recognized as a 36-year-old very few of those names from a talent perspective. And Mark mentioned Mike Trout's the best baseball player of our time. I'm a Detroit Tigers fan, and I find it offensive that he left out Miguel Cabrera, the only Triple Crown winner of this millennium, as the best player of all time. But we can discuss that after. And as discussed, anybody under 35 years old, I don't think it matters. But I'm here to tell you a little bit about Jukin Media, and more importantly about how brands can weave authenticity into storytelling. I think in a year that we are having today, it's very, very interesting, and can be challenging, but I think there's some key ways to do that. So I'm going to start with a really sort of groundbreaking statement. 2020 was the year that no one asked for. I laugh a bit. In January, I was on a similar panel at a similar organization, and I was talking with a contact of mine who's a head of innovation at a large agency. And we were laughing about how 2020 was going to be a tough year for brands because there was going to be, a lot of drama around the election. And obviously that might have been the most short-sighted statement ever. Certainly there's drama around the election, but you look at everything else that's going on. We don't need to recap it. Obviously coronavirus wreaking, medical havoc and economic impact. There's a fight for social justice and equity that seems to be much harder than it should be. Half of the western part of the United States has been on fire for the last 2 months. It has just been a really, really tough year for individuals. You've got people whose lives, parents who are having to work and parent, and kids are in virtual school. It's a lot going on at once that was not anticipated by anybody. And while, sort of the plight or the struggles of brands, pale in comparison to the individual struggles that folks are going through, we'd be remiss not to mention that brands have had plans that, if you think back this time last year and what you thought your plan for 2020 was going to look like, I can't imagine there's a single brand in the world who it looks like what you thought it would. I mean, everything was upended. You've also got a number of different, sort of potholes and pitfalls that are waiting for you. And how do you navigate messaging and communication streams to customers in a way that is relatable to them, that is empathetic to what folks are going through, and manages all these different sort of competing priorities of bad news that are out there. So it's certainly been one heck of a year. One of those ways that I think brands can connect to folks are through user-generated video. We just heard a lot about it. But through all of this, through everything that we've seen and gone through this year, there have been amazing moments captured and shared by real people that are documenting what their lives are like. And especially when you think about, we cannot, as individuals, as a society, connect physically in person like we are used to. We are finding new ways to connect and share our lives with our friends, our families, our followers, using digital and social media. So think about all the things that you've seen this year. Think about all these videos. Think about the drive-by birthdays and the socially distanced graduations. Think about folks who have gone to their balcony and played concerts for their neighbors, or connected via Zoom calls, or parents who have found unique ways to entertain their kids. I saw a video of a couple who had set up a slip and slide in their hallway for their kids indoors, that would have never happened in sort of normal life. So all these moments that people are using to connect with each other, they persist. There are millions of them every single day. And it's a real opportunity for brands to speak very relatably and authentically to customers, and to avoid some of that bad news, to connect with consumers around really positive, uplifting moments. And Republican, Democrat, coastal, middle of the country, Gen Z, boomer, old, young, Facebook, Instagram, these are the moments that sort of democratize content. Everybody loves these. There's no political slant to them. There's nothing. These are just pure moments in people's lives. And so we think these make a huge opportunity for brands. And this ultimately is what Jukin's business is built on. Real people, real moments, real emotions. These are the moments that we are sharing as individuals, and this is our business. So what does that mean? Just real quickly on Jukin. Every day across the world, we are scouring all of the major social video and sharing platforms: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, etc. And we find what we consider to be the best of these slice of life moments. Um, high quality, emotionally compelling, brand safe, connective tissue. This is the social currency that powers the internet. We find the best of this, we acquire the rights to it, and then we utilize it and help brands utilize it as part of media, content, and creative campaigns to connect to consumers. There's sort of three ways that we do that. There's a licensing operation where we're working with different creative agencies and creative groups at brands who are licensing individual clips from our library of about 60,000 individual clips. This has been particularly relevant, as you can imagine, over the last 7 months or so, as yes, production has been shut down and UGC provides a very nice alternative for that. But B, brands are looking to speak to people in terms they can understand or they want to understand. And real life content in a moment where folks want to be talked to in a different way is a really valuable tool. We have a production studio, and we are producing and distributing a number of different branded content campaigns across our properties, and then media. We offer premium, high quality video inventory across social and streaming channels. Lastly, last sort of little overview on Jukin. We've taken this library of content, we've taken this expertise and experience in packaging and programming it, and we've built 6 owned and operated properties that live across social and streaming. People Are Awesome is a celebration of achievement. It's ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Pet Collective is a lifestyle property for pet owners. This Is Happening is our current events brand. I like to call it the internet's biggest fan. It's a look into social video, viral video, what's going on in the cultural zeitgeist. Poke My Heart, sweet, emotional, inspiring moments, the stuff that'll make you cry and quickly wipe away your tears before your family members or coworkers see it. It's soldier reunions and gender reveals and all those amazing kid and family moments. Fail Army, which you may have heard of because it was a show on MTV2 for about 7 years, 7 seasons, is our way of laughing at each other. You might argue that Fail Army could also be the name, the unofficial name of 2020. And then Weather Spy is our newest property. It is a sort of a weather property for Gen Z and millennial consumers who look at weather not just as forecasts, but as a look into nature and adventure and environmental issues. So 200 million fans, 2 billion monthly video views. We're one of the largest programmers of streaming channels across connected TV platforms with 7 million hours viewed. So there's a lot here. And I think what this speaks to is that people are rabid for this content, regardless of which channel it's on, where they're viewing it, which screen they're viewing it on. And so let's, quickly shift to how brands can utilize and have utilized real life user generated video to connect to consumers. We'll just show a bunch of examples and maybe I'll make some dad jokes and then I'll shift you back off to JT and other people who are significantly smarter than I am. Our most recent campaign, working with Hershey and their Reese's and Kit Kat brands. And this is really interesting to me because I think, when quarantine or when sort of the COVID crisis first started in March and April, we all had to relearn how to do life. And then as we got into summer, I think folks got into a groove and sort of understood their boundaries and set their boundaries. And now we're coming into a period of time, Q4 specifically, where you've got Halloween and Thanksgiving and winter holidays. And there's renewed discussion of, oh man, how do we do Halloween this year? How do we do Thanksgiving? We're all figuring it out again. And so I think for brands, there's an opportunity, especially ones that have a traditional lineage in these moments. Don't run away from it. Don't run away from Halloween alignment and Thanksgiving alignment. But think about what does it look like differently this year than last year? And that's what we've done with Hershey is we've created a number of different spots that are running across YouTube, utilizing UGC and some really unique tactics to think about what Halloween looks like this year. So I'll show you a couple examples. I know that video on WebEx can be a little dicey, so nothing here is too long, and just know that these are really smooth in person. So let's watch the Kit Kat example first.
Say trick or oh.
So again, just very quick, Halloween takes no breaks. Again, speaking to consumers and understanding the situation that folks are in, where they're wondering, and even the tagline of I think it said "Donut Stop the Fun," right? Like, do it smartly, but you don't have to just skip Halloween this year. And then the example for Reese's is one of my favorites. Right, there may not be Halloween parades this year, but it doesn't mean you can't stuff your 1.5-year-old into a disco ball. And as the father of a 2.5-year-old, I think I just learned what we'll be dressing up as this year. But throw your own parade, right? Again, speaking to consumers, don't shy away from it. You don't have to not mention it, but speak to the situation. We just got off a panel all about sports, and we talked about the fact that this summer and spring there was a dearth of sports. We're in a better situation now. Football is back. We're in the World Series, NBA Finals, and Stanley Cup Finals just wrapped up. But we partnered with Michelob Ultra to give folks sports in an environment where there was none. And so we took clips from our library of amazing sort of backyard sports moments, and via Michelob Ultra and their agency partners, we worked with Joe Buck, the famous sportscaster, to add play-by-play calls to some of these amazing sports moments. So I'll share this with you just for a second.
When you want to clean up and you want to work on your footwork, this is amazing. Look at this absolute incredible talent. This is hacky sack at its best. Something I couldn't do on the playground. I wasn't a popular kid. That's for another day. And this one is swished into the trash can. Amazing. Let's roll this again. This is recycling at its finest. And got it again. I could watch it all day. Crunch it up. Recycle, enjoy.
So again, speak to the situation. And we created a number of these assets that were then pushed out across our channels, across Fox Sports, across Ultra channels, and seeded out a contest where users could submit their own videos to have Joe Buck add his play-by-play. So again, a really unique execution, speaking to the moment that we were in, but entertaining and connecting with audiences in a different way. As I go to the next slide, hopefully. Yep. Cheerios, long lineage in morning time, right? And people are spending more time at home. Folks are working from home, virtual learning and school at home. And so they wanted to connect with audiences around these morning moments while still utilizing their own creative. So we created a sort of a 30-second mini sponsorship, if you will, that pairs user-generated video with their creative asset. These are then running in the ad inventory across our streaming channels. So again, just a unique way, and I'll share it with you, of how you can take your existing creative and add an element of UGC to make it even more relatable and relevant.
What are we going to do today? Right. What kind of day are we going to have? Right. What do we do if we fall down? What do we do if we see someone party? 1, 2, 3.
If you want to show the world the good you do, Cheerios can help to feed the good inside of you. In the morning, if you think your heart does a flap, feed the good inside of you, because it never stops. Cheerios.
One of my favorites. Again, just a really unique, if that doesn't make you smile, I don't know what does. And then finally, you're not going to get a presentation on internet video without dogs and cats. And so I think this one's really interesting. We've worked with PetSmart now a couple times, but we partnered with them. Everything you've seen has been largely brand messages. This commercial spot has a very specific product message. So UGC can speak to a specific product and a specific offering. And this one was about their curbside pickup that they were obviously and have been promoting since COVID.
Whether it's bribes to roll over or an overdue makeover, get all your pet essentials right when you need them with curbside pickup at PetSmart. Just order online, drive up, check in, and pick up.
So again, just a really unique product-focused message. And the last thing I'll show you yes, I'm sure this stuff made you laugh, made you smile, gave you goosebumps, whatever it is, it had an emotional connection. But this content also drives business results. So these are just our benchmarks for brand lift across affinity and purchase intent and recommendation intent. So it works. It really works. So look, 2020 is challenging for everybody. 2021, unfortunately, probably some of those challenges are going to carry over. But there are these moments, and there are new ones every single day. We just saw the ocean spray spot with tick on TikTok, and that guy in that video went viral. Who knows why? There's no, particular method and formula. But one thing we can all agree is it was just an authentic. That guy's truck broke down, and he just found a way to make a moment of it. And so I think, as you think about, there are millions of those moments happening every day, and folks are using them to share with each other. It's a language that people speak, and there are ways that brands can participate in that conversation and do so in a way that connects them closer, more empathetically, more authentically to customers. So that's it. I'm going to turn it back to JT. Thank you for the time. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Zach, awesome job. Thank you so much. I think that if you dress up like a disco ball, you will be a shoo-in for the Jukin Halloween contest.
I would hope so, right? If I can't win being a disco ball, then I just quit. Like, I'm never dressing up again.
Please don't quit. Thank you again, Zach. Fantastic job. We're now going to move on to our fireside chat. We're thrilled to welcome Ari